everyone's kind of walking around thinking, am I going to be laid off? Because when mergers and any company happen, there's always layoffs.
Yeah. I honestly think a lot of us had that mindset, you know?
What's going on, wrestling fans? It is I, Steve Fall, and welcome to 10 Count right here on Wrestling News Co. On today's edition, I'm talking to someone who's recently been in the headlines, maybe for news she's not interested in talking about, but we're going to try to crack that nut today. It's Alexis. Great. How are you doing today?
Hey, nice to see you guys today. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure. And, as we talked about recently in headlines, unfortunate news, but let's start from the beginning because were you a fan of the WWE growing up?
Yes, I actually was. I was very much known for RKOing my siblings, you know, Batista bombing them from the couches. But never did I think I would ever be affiliated into the company the way I was. Like I never in my life thought that that would be my moment for sure.
And that's got to be something crazy where you're thinking, here you are, RKOing members of your family, and then here we are, flash forward, you're working for the company. Now, I know you are a track star, and obviously the WWE has been recruiting talent from different colleges. Now, explain your recruiting process. Did you fill out an application? Did they contact you?
So yeah, I saw it on Instagram. I just remember. So it's funny today in today's world, I feel like when you say things out loud, these computers are listening to you, so they pull it up immediately. And I remember saying I need a job that I would absolutely love, that I could fully commit myself to. And I'm just remembering sign up here, literally popping right up on my Instagram. And I was like, this can't be real. So I applied. And when they reached out to me, I was like, it's no way. Like, it's no way. Because they reached out to me maybe a couple months after my application. So completely forgot about it. And when I got that call to come to Dallas for that WrestleMania tryout, I was baffled. I was absolutely baffled. I was like, it literally did not even hit me at the tryout that I was trying out for WWE. And the fact that I made it, I got my contract, and it took a lot of difficulties, with my visa and stuff. I'm an international student, so it took a lot of difficulties getting there. But once I got there, I was like having the time of my life for sure.
Now, I have gone to a few of these tryouts and observed the athletes, and I could never handle what you're put through. Now, so the process of being there is one thing, but when you get there, you're very good at track. Well, I have watched what they put people through, and it doesn't matter if you're good at track because they're going to slam you down, throw you down, make you run the ropes, do
Yep.
everything. So out of the bunch that you were involved with during your tryout, how many actually were signed?
I believe at the tryout, maybe 5 to 6 people got offered right there on the spot. I would say maybe 25 to 30 people actually got contracts to come in that
Wow.
Dallas class. We all just came at very various times. Most of them got there maybe a little over a year ago, maybe over a year and a half. But I was the only me and another guy, we came in January. So it was pretty off, that's just because of personal things, trying to get to the company and starting work and stuff like that. Um, as far as like the physicality, I think for me personally, I have an extensive athletic background. I track was my main sport, but I have found myself in many sports where I actually can compete. I could find myself on a team and actually hold my ground on a team. So I have a lot of like athletic background when it comes to flipping and falling and jumping and screaming and doing all this other stuff. Like it just came super, super natural to me. So like that part was piece of cake.
Oh man, I was gonna say I went to the most recent one at SummerSlam, and there I'm told like, yeah, you can film, you can film what you want. I'm filming, everyone working out, trying out, and they're like, just don't, film anything that if something goes wrong. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And so maybe an hour goes by, maybe two. There's a guy yakking behind me. There's a girl on the ground being like, oh my God, oh my God. Like they're suffering. They are suffering. So the fact that you suffered and then got a contract really shows that the company was interested in you. And when you get brought in, you're talking about visa issues. Now, at what point is that kind of hitting you like, all right, this dream is happening, but yet this visa thing is really holding me back?
So it only held me back when it came to actually getting to the company. Once I got to the company, everything went smoothly. It was all going great. It only became an issue again after the fact that, now I'm released. I have to inform people, I have to inform authorities. I have to make sure I'm staying up current with my visas and stuff like that so that I can get myself sorted out. So it's a process, it's a process, but I guess it got to be done.
Of course. Now, let's talk about that for a minute then. You recently were part of a mass layoff at the WWE. Pretty much, I believe people believe it's based on the Endeavor merger with UFC and the WWE forming TKO. Now, building up to this merger, is there rumblings? Is there talk? Not just for you, but like in general, where you're like everyone's kind of walking around thinking, am I going to be laid off? Because when mergers and any company happen, there's always layoffs.
Yeah. I honestly think a lot of us had that mindset. I personally did have that thought in the back of my mind, but because I was so new, I kind of didn't accept that, maybe I was a part of the people that were going to get, laid off. So when I did get the call, it was baffling to me because when I tell you I had a plan, I felt like things were finally making sense in the company. I felt like I understood what they were requesting of us to just be cut off right immediately as I understood it. So it was a lot. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because, you're a victim of a merger. You're not a victim of you not being talented or not
Yeah.
putting, that's the thing too is yeah, I think so this is what you tweeted out. This is what you tweeted out. I want to read it right now. At the end of the day, I put in work. This is capital letters, work. Every day that I went in that place, I have never wrestled in my whole life, but that did not stop me from showing that I can be one of the greatest superstars. Now that I found this new passion, I won't stop. I'll take another way. What were you feeling writing this?
I was just feeling empowered. I was feeling like this was a whole new world for me that I could just start fresh in. And it felt natural, it felt comfortable, it felt scary, but at the same time, I felt like nothing's telling me to not continue. Nothing's telling me to not pursue this and see where this can go because when I genuinely don't believe that being with WWE would have made me successful. I believe that what I was bringing would have made the company successful.
Yeah, no, powerful words because there are so many people you look at the past 20 years of wrestlers who either have been laid off, fired, came back, left, never came back, then came back. There is a list of former world champions, former Intercontinental champions, US champions, name it, everything underneath the sun has happened. And all those people end up doing something else or return, and they all seem to be remembered forever. So the fact that you didn't even get to have your first match on television, were there plans for your first match coming up?
I was speaking to coaches about just doing more live events. I feel like that was where I was at with my training. Um, Obviously we didn't get to that point, sadly, but you know, it it's just so hard to explain and put into words. It's more easy for me to just show everyone, and I think the origin story is even better now. I think it's gonna be better for me to grind because I understand now how many people want to be in my position. Like how that opportunity was so special, how that opportunity was so big that and the fact that the door is not closed, the door isn't closed, it's like, okay, well, let me not get upset about it. Let me not be upset. Let me find a different way. Let me still get to where I want to go. Just take a different route, And it's like I said, it felt natural. It felt scary but comfortable. So I'm just following along, and everybody on Twitter, like I did not expect that tweet to blow up like it did. The minute that I tweeted it, it's like people, whether they didn't know who I was or they did, it was the fact that they cared in some form of way, and the fact that I caught so much of people's attention, no matter how it came off, it showed me like, okay, you know what? I think you're on the right path. I think you might be doing something right.
I agree with you. That tweet went out and it just blew up. And even companies that put out releases, every time, unfortunately, when Wrestler was released, someone would make like a picture and post it on Twitter. And you look up your name, and your name is higher than some of the talents that have been there for a very long time. Dana Brooke, Shelton Benjamin, great talented people. But your name, if you look at the retweets, higher. How does that make you feel? And why do you feel like that's happening?
I feel like it's happening because when I came in with the mindset of this is not my territory. I'm stepping into someone else's territory. I need to figure out what exactly is missing. You know what I mean? They have so many people. They have so many talented people who bring so much to the table. So the question is, what are they actually missing if they have everything? And that's what I was challenging myself to think of. And I think coming in with that mindset, it naturally caused me to move in certain ways that actually caught the attention of a lot of people. And it started with little fan accounts on Instagram, and they would just make posts about me, and I would understand it from a point of, they don't have to. I'm not on TV, I'm not really solidified, but the fact that they're taking their time to follow me, they're taking their time to actually build with me and motivate me and be there with me, it made me feel like, you know what? I want to put my best foot forward. I have people behind me who don't even know me. I want to put my best foot forward.
Yeah.
And that was literally it. That's all that I was thinking about every day I came into work. I was like, this is so much bigger than me now. And I'm excited. I was so excited to embrace that.
Amazing. Yeah, I think again, there are so many talented people in NXT and the WWE who were laid off recently, and unfortunately, you were part of one of them. But when you were there, like you're talking about coaches, there's Steve Corino, there's Matt Bloom, there's other individuals. Shawn Michaels is one. So when you're part of the process of learning, what and who is speaking to you, and what are you learning on the day-to-day basis?
It's going to be, of course, basic training of wrestling. You have to understand the history. You have to understand what the business is about. You have to understand, basically, they're giving us as athletes a chance to be broadcasted on a wide stage, performing a sport that we have never even probably thought about since we were kids, which was a lot of people's like thing there. And they have realized that they have to start this training and instilling in us the basics of wrestling so that we are able to be put in situations where we are able to think smart on our feet. We are able to stay safe. We are able to perform and put on a great show. And that's pretty much what the training was basically about. Just embracing the fact that they are going to throw a lot at you. It's a big world. You got to keep going with it. It does not stop. Wrestling does not stop. And they need you to be able to keep going with it. Keep going with it. So I understand the intent, like the intensity for them to put that pressure on us. It's a huge company, huge corporation. And they just taking a risk on bringing just athletes that they're just like, okay, you fit, so come on, let's try it. And it's like, I I understood where they were coming from with the training.
Of course, that's amazing to hear because yeah, there's so and that's the thing too is there's so many wrestling companies that exist. If this was like 20 years ago and suddenly, oh, you're gone, well, where the hell are you gonna go? There's nowhere to go. But now the wrestling boom is happening, and you have multiple AEW, Impact, NWA, New Japan Dojo. Like it's an endless amount. Not even the MLW, Rev Pro. Like if you want to go around the world, you can go and work anywhere and do anything. So it is so great to hear your passion because again, when it happened on Twitter and people were just gravitating towards you instantly, and to me, I was like, oh, okay, like everyone has a dream and sometimes our dreams change. And obviously, you achieve a part of your dream. So now what's the next goal after this situation?
Currently, I'm gonna try to find a wrestling school because I'm definitely not gonna stop. I definitely have to show you guys what I look like in that ring. And that is like probably the main thing that I think is so heavy on my heart. The fact that I had so much planned and now it's even more postponed. But I mean, the wait is gonna be worth it. I'm more excited the more I wait, the more ideas I get, the more anxious I get, the more, excited I get, the more passionate I get about the sport. And it's like I'm just ready. I'm so ready, looking forward to the future, trying to find me a great school. Um just reaching out to a lot of the ladies in wrestling. I've that tweet was so beneficial to me in the fact that it connected me with so many people. So many women have reached out, so many companies have reached out, and I am so grateful. And it made me even more passionate because I'm like, out of this situation came good. And I'm gonna accept that. It feels right.
Oh my God. You make me want to run through a wall for you, everything you're saying. So passionate.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Like I said earlier, no one knows the plan. We all have a plan and sometimes it gets screwed up, but we always find a way around to the next spot. So it's been a pleasure, though, talking to you about your passion, your drive, your will to continue after what happened recently. And I want everyone to know, even yourself, if, and obviously you're very proud of yourself as well, but it's not it feels like it's a weird situation to be like, well, it's not you, it's this weird ass merger that when a company looks at a bottom line and goes, how much money could we save here if we did this? And that's unfortunate. People are always going to be caught there. But I gotta say, it's been a pleasure talking to you on 10 Count. This is great. It's been a pleasure. The world is yours. So thank you so much for being here on 10 Count. I'm Steve Fall. She's the future. Have a great day, and we will see you next time. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.